All right, here's what we got. We're going to talk a little MetaZoo right now, though. Let's talk pricing before we get into the box breaks and stuff. I do want to kind of keep everybody up to date on this thing because last week we had a show. We showed how high the prices were going. Things were going straight up. Well, prices, as they do, find a plateau and start to come down. Like, eventually there's got to be a ceiling, and the ceiling's going to be artificially made. You know, that means somebody's squeezing some inventory to make things go higher. Or, you know, they're just natural, like, inventory got released, people are opening it, reselling it, things are getting cheaper. So in this situation, quickly, Foregathers.
Thanks for the follow, man.
Thanks for following, man. We're talking MetaZoo, though. So I just want to point out, like, let's take a look on eBay real quick, see how the prices are going. So current active listings, I'm going to refresh it. Current active MetaZoo listings, 3,763. All right, that's a bunch, right? Quickly, let's go to the solds. We're going to refresh it. 8201. So what does that say? I'll tell you what it says. We have more than 2 times as many sold in the past 90 days.
People are scooping them up.
Yeah, they're still scooping them up. The prices are starting to come down a little bit, starting to soften. And the listings are obviously going up 3,700. It's more last week. I think we were on. It was like 2,800. I think what you're seeing though is with the softening prices, more cards being listed, way more purchases. I mean, the purchases are not being affected by the pricing. I know it sounds silly. You're like, well, wouldn't purchases when the price goes down, purchases go up? In a collectible market, when you're talking collectibles, people don't buy cheap shit. Period. I mean, if it's a cheap shit game, that means it's dying.
I was gonna say they buy when it's hot, not when it's not.
So this game's not cheap shit. Can I say? I'm saying shit.
Yeah, you can say shit all you want.
It's an adult channel.
I should have asked that before I said shit.
This is not. Yeah.
I should have just thrown out there. Can I say shit?
Yeah, of course.
No, but for real, they don't buy cheap shit. So that means this stuff is still hot. People are interested, and there are some cards that are going up. I do want to kind of point out a few things. Mark talked about. So if you check out our YouTube channel, the Refractor Line, that's us. Mark made a simulated game. He showed you how to play the game, told you a little about the rules of the game, all that stuff.
I highly recommend you check it out. It's on YouTube.
Learn
how to play.
It's in our last tweet.
Yeah, and it's only, it's as short as it can be because there's a lot of information. So check it out if you're interested. And because if you're going to be a collector, you might as well know about it. If you're collecting baseball cards, basketball cards, you probably know how to play baseball or basketball. You probably know what it means. So keep an eye out.
I want to say there's 2 things Mark pointed out on that I thought were great pieces of information for an investor or somebody who just wants to play the game. Investor, first thing Mark said is you need aura. So these brilliant aura decks are still relatively hot. Their original purchase price, I believe, was $59, and they're still about $120, so they're double. I mean, they're doing really well for themselves.
Those were still available on the Channel Fireball page.
And they bumped the price on everything, so I don't know what they're asking. And we'll get to that in a minute. And booster boxes are now below 500.
Yeah.
Why are booster boxes below 500? Channel Fireball still has them in stock. How does Channel Fireball have them in stock?
Have they lowered their price at all?
No, they're 5. And I don't want to be, I'm not going to accuse them of anything. They might have just had returns. Credit cards get canceled all the time. People use bad credit cards or whatever for orders. So they were sitting on a bunch and then just listed them at market price. Or...
Oh, they did drop their... Oh, no, $4.99. That's what it was.
Or they set them aside for themselves and knew the price was going to go up. They saw their pre-orders, knew what was going on, held a few.
Yeah.
I'm not here to talk ethics. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not your ethics professor. But I will say I don't like it. But I'm just somebody who buys things, so whatever. Anyway, so here we go. The boxes have come down, the aura decks, everything's kind of come down, but they're all up if you bought them originally. They're not like, you're losing any money. Something Mark brought up on the show, on his rule show, there were 2 cards, Mark, that you thought were very powerful, right?
Yeah, super powerful.
So the first guy was what?
Quetzalcoatlus.
There it is.
Quetzalcoatlus. Yes, Quetzalcoatlus. It's hard to say, but very strong. And really, there's a strong because of the traits. And there's all these traits on the left side. It's kind of, on that gray bar.
Right here. So take a look.
They're strong. He can fly, so that means people on the ground cannot attack him. The boot with the wing means it's fleet, so he enters ready to attack, not fatigue. And then the blade cutting through the air means first strike. So if someone attacks him, he gets first strike. So if it's someone weak, he might take him out, kill him before he even gets attacked. So
and also, Mark, what's the biggest thing right there?
4 per spell book. This isn't a one guy. This is an attack guy. This is you bring 4 and you bring the pain. I mean, you get 50 extra points if it's Thunder Lightning. So play the Terror card.
Exactly right.
You're balling.
So Mark, right here, strategy meets investment. Right? Let's cross them. This card is powerful. It's not being treated as such right now because how many people are actually playing the game? I don't know.
Not many.
But this card is undervalued. And I mean, it's coming in at what, $20 for a full holo, and it's a rare?
That's a deal, man. That's a gold, yeah.
That's a deal. It is a deal, man. I mean, I'm not joking. This card, I watched Mark's whole video, and with that fleet and the first strike, you could do a lot of damage with 4 of these in your deck. I mean, it's just...
Bring out a team of them, play under a chandelier, because you get 10 bonus but 10 bonus damage for every light bulb you're playing under.
Dude, put them on mom's dining room table, turn it on, dude. How many lights they got in those old chandeliers? I mean, you know, it's true, though, and that's why it's worth watching that video. Mark drops more nuggets like that. There's more information about why some cards are more valuable. Even Mothman, Mark, you kind of showed what the Mothman was all about.
So strong, and it could win a game right away, and it's kind of playing off your opponent's tendencies. So if you know they're packing 4 of those Quetzalcoatluses, you can say, oh, you know, because how it works is you select a card of their 7. If you select correctly, you win the game. They're out. So you select Quetzalcoatlus, hey, you know, there's a good chance you probably have one because you're balling because they're so strong. So there you go. I mean, it's one of those strategy type things, but it shows why it's so strong. You could win in one turn.
I think what makes this interesting, and this is kind of an interesting conversation to have, even if you're an investor and not a game player, if you look at cards traditionally in trading card games that are worth the most, they're cards that are useful. The Black Lotus is super useful in Magic the Gathering. I mean, cards that you can use are cards that end up being worth money. Yes, of course, the first set and all that stuff. Well, these are the first set. I mean, they're not the Kickstarter. They're the real first set, first edition, full holos, that stuff. I'm not joking around when I say Mark's giving you good information here. These are $20 cards you could be buying. Heck, this guy's got friggin' 2. You get reverse and regular for 30. Get the complete set. Shoot, buy 4. Have a great deck. But also, these cards are going to go up.
Yeah, it's something we've talked about as we continue to get more familiar with the game. Is that as people start to figure out which cards are most useful, like the popularity of that and usefulness is going to drive up the price as people start to get more familiar with
that.
So like
100%.
Yeah, and that I think ultimately, like at the base of collecting, that's what drives prices is rarity and
quality of the player or card.
Exactly, popularity.
I mean, yeah, like you can even take that to sports cards. You're not buying some scrub because he's got a dope card. I mean, there are a lot of dope cards in this world, and they're worth good money. But the most expensive ones are the best players.
Right.
I mean, I don't even know how to how to put that in trading card game terms. And I know things get rules change, they ban cards, whatever. But for the most part, these cards are useful. Buy them. They're underappreciated right now because I don't think enough people are playing more.
Right. Yeah, and it's one of those things, if future cards change something, so let's say it's only 2 per spellbook, well, you have the OG card where it says 4, and that's, you know, it makes it more collectible and all of those things.
And you can play, like, of course, there's traditional games then, so eventually you'll be able to play traditional with everybody, or one that's all cards inclusive. That type of stuff, these cards are expensive. It sounds silly for me to be pumping some weird $20 card, but Mark, that's what you pump. I'm not trying to pump, like, everybody knows Mothman's the man.
Mothman's the man, yeah.
But after that, like, I think people are still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, like Blastoise, Ivysaur. I mean, that stuff, everybody's like, oh, you know, Obnoxious 9, who are, of course, great cards. Like, don't get me wrong, you want Sam Sinclair.
Yeah, absolutely. He's on the front of the comic. I mean, how cool.
Yeah. And it's comics are on now. Go to MetaZoo Marketplace. You can get that second printing of the comic, and it has, guys, for I don't know what the price was. I forgot what the price.
It's $9.99.
$10 and like $5 shipping or something like that.
You know,
tax, all that. Yeah.
But you get a holo. They said there's gonna be a holo promo. The first one I don't believe had a holo promo. The first one I think had a metal but it was just in the back of the book. So basically, like your Shonen Jump Yu-Gi-Oh. This one sounds like they're gonna give you a sealed holo promo with it. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, man. I mean, it's worth taking note of what's going on in the game. And I think that's why Mark's video's a good video. Go to our YouTube, The Refractor Line, and check out all of our videos. But Mark's playthrough video is the one where you could look at it and say, oh, so this is how the game is played. This is how I know what I'm going to invest in.
Yeah. Or if you bought a booster box, you want to see how good something is, you can kind of look and just see, beyond price, what does it mean or how does it play?
That's
you can take
a great
look.
point.
Yeah.
And let's use Mothman. We used him last week. We'll continue to use him. Ended recently. So, Mark, when you pulled Mothman, we were talking about him being about a $200 card, right? 150, 200. Still above that, 236. Chibi Mothman.
When he pulled it, it wasn't worth it. I thought it was worth like $75.
I think Mark's Mothman was. I thought it was 150 to 200. I thought it was, but I thought Matt's was 75, and I knew the Chaos Crystal Mark pulled was probably at the time 75. And we're gonna check these all right now. So Mothman, first edition, Cryptidation Full Holo, 480 international. Ship it to UK, man. They're playing out there. Same thing with Australia. I know they're really into it as well. Let's see. That's a silly business. Here we go. Reverse hollow, 200. That's great. 364. So we saw one last week. I think they went, it went for 550 of these two. So it has come back. So if there's a time to buy, and I'm not even, I'm not kidding. If there's a time to buy, it's now.
It's probably now, yeah.
Yeah. You don't realize how hard these Mothman are to pull. And you'll see if you watch our box breaks. I don't think we're going to get one. I mean, I'm not saying that to...
I'm going to get two, but I
Mark's
don't believe
getting two
him. Okay.
I'm not saying that to hurt anybody's feelings.
I'm going to keep the faith.
Like, here's the booster. Let me hold this up here. So this is what we got. All right. So, boom. We're going to be opening this one, and Matt's got his.
And that's in the background.
And there, obviously there's some damage to them. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's like a crease right there at the top.
They packed them like idiots.
Well,
yeah,
they said it was from their international printer. And I'm not saying it wasn't. I don't know.
They certainly didn't help themselves by the way they packed it. They put it in a cardboard box and put shipping peanuts like on one side. So like if the box gets tossed in any way, like it's straight on the ground.
Channel Fireball's out here just not giving a damn.
At
this point, they've shipped 10,000 boxes.
On one hand, if the box has got that jacked up, like it's going to inherently create like a market for like the cards that are in really good shape because you would think there are fewer of them, but I don't know if that's the case.
I mean, back to that, Matt, for a minute. I'm kind of looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, that reverse hollow at 100, trending at 100, 150. I mean, that feels to me that's underpriced,
Yeah,
Mark. I mean, the card's super useful, guys. I mean, it's useful, reverse hollow, regular hollow. But damn,
and even if you don't do that special move, it's 100 damage, which it's hard to match. You don't see 100 damage
unless you got a million light bulbs on Mom's dining room
well,
table.
Exactly. Well, then you're doing a couple hundred damage. I'm playing in the grand ballroom of some place, right?
don't play Mark in a hotel ballroom.
What happens if it's an LED light? Just one light.
It just says light. Light is light bulbs.
Light bulbs are light bulbs.
LED light bulbs just means they don't have a filament. That's
We're
fine.
playing under Christmas
light
lights.
emitting diodes. Oh yeah, Mark's got a string of lights around. Christmas lights around his neck. Don't play Mark. He's a cheater. No, so that's the thing. All right. So what did we talk about today? Let's quick recap it here. We got a minute. I'm going to tell you right now. Look, MetaZoo. Mark has a video that explains how to play. Look at Mark's video or figure out how to play. I don't care what you do. But the point is the cards that are useful, Mark, and the ones you point out on the show are going to be the ones that are probably going to end up being valuable. We've seen it time and time again with Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering. Anything that ended up being super useful ended up, believe it or not, being super valuable. Mm-hmm. So take the time, watch Mark's thing on our YouTube, or just figure out how to play the game and see what you think is going to be valuable. We've given you a couple that are undervalued right now. Check those out, whatever.